What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to take a look at Smoker. Because you see, Japan Championships happened a couple of weeks ago, and that was won by Smoker. The new Smoker, the OP-10 Smoker, the red and green Smoker. But here's where things get really interesting, because I've been having a look around and following this very, very closely since it happened. OP-02 Smoker seems to be winning more often in flagships right now. When you go to your kind of mid-range tournaments over in Japan, OP-02 Smoker seems to be actually having the better of it. But then OP-10 Smoker went and won the whole thing. They're the Japan champion. What I can tell you is, Smoker is now great. But I think we need to take a look at this red-green Smoker and see exactly why the deck is so gosh darn good. Although I do just want it on the record here that, like I say, it's clearly great. But just having a look specifically at what we're seeing from flagships, etc. in Japan lately, I'm seeing more from OP-02 Smoker than I am from OP-10 Smoker. Either way, if you're a fan of Smoker, and I am, this is starting to look good. So OP-10 Smoker, what have we got? Well, it says that your characters that are Navy or Punk Hazard gain an extra 1,000 power on your opponent's turn. This is obviously wonderful, because it means that you can have more power in terms of blocking, in terms of your opponent trying to take you out, etc. That's good. But we've also got an activate main once per turn that if you've got a 7k or more, you set 2 Don to active. Bearing in mind, of course, that you can boost up your own characters with your Smoker leader, and that seems like fun to me. Although, funnily enough, you're not actually playing any natural 6k characters here, it doesn't really work. So what have we got then in terms of the deck? Well, we got ourselves the Atama from OP-01. We're very familiar with this at this point. Counter plus 2k is obviously awesome. And on play, give one of your opponent's characters minus 2,000 power for the turn. So you're lowering your opponent's power, which red like to do. You got a counter plus 2k. It's why it's been a staple for so gosh darn long. We've also then got ourselves a playset of Virgo, and this is the new Virgo from OP-10. On play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, find a Punk Hazard other than Virgo, add it to your hand, put the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. It's your generic Punk Hazard searcher. But we have a bunch of Punk Hazard cards, so this is clearly brilliant. Now moving up into 2 costs, we've actually got a playset of the Don Quixote Rocinante that came around in OP-06. It's a blocker, but it lets you trash this character rather than one of your other rested characters taking a KO. So it's a blocker, which can also be a sacrificial lamb for one of your better characters. Either way, you can see why we're playing it as a 4-of here. Play it to block, play it to save your other characters. Either way, seems like you're pretty good. And the other 2 costs we're playing here, we've got a couple of copies of Monet. This is again from OP-10. Activate main, rest this character, and you give 2 rested Don to your leader or one of your characters. Then you give one of your opponent's characters minus 1,000 power for the turn. But one important thing here is it will boost a 5k up to a 7k, and if you boost a 5k up to a 7k, then that means you get to set 2 of your Don to active, which is awesome. Although once again, there's no actual natural 5k characters here, but all you need to do is give like a 3rd Don or whatever and you will be fine. You're boosting up your characters while lowering power. Clearly Monet is brilliant. We've got ourselves a couple copies here of Baccarat. That is one from OP-07. And we've got Blocker, which is lovely. Another blocker like Don Quixote Rocinante. But on your opponent's turn, once per turn, trash a card from your hand to give your leader or one of your characters a 2k bump during the battle. Yeah, that's also brilliant. Because remember, Monet is already giving extra Don. Now you're boosting up power of Baccarat, and you'll notice here that we've already seen a bunch of characters which are boosting up power. That shouldn't surprise anybody, because it means you get towards 7k to activate this skill that gives 2 Don active. Clearly brilliant. And then we've got a playset of Sanji Nami. It's Sanji, but in Nami's body. Also from OP-10, these are of course Punk Hazard characters, as we would expect. On your turn, it goes from a 3k to a 6k, which is awesome. And on KO, you draw a card. Well, it's a free cost 6k on your turn that draws a card on KO. Doesn't take a genius to figure out this is awesome. And then we've also got TCG Smoker, but this time it's TCG in Smoker's body, coming in as a character as well. Also OP-10, also Punk Hazard. When your green character other than TCG would be removed from an effect, you can rest this character instead. So now we've got Don Quixote Rocinante to stop your characters being KO'd, and TCG to stop your characters being removed by an effect. It means you are getting a lot of protection on your characters here, keeping the ones in play that you need to boost your power and use your skill and all of that. Now the one forecast we've got here is Chopper Sanji. Chopper in Sanji's body, Punk Hazard of course. Counter plus 2k is brilliant. Blocker, yes, it's a third different blocker. You are protecting yourself very well with this deck. But also on your opponent's turn, it's a 4-cost 6k. Very close to 7k. Not a coincidence. But also it's a 6k blocker with counter plus 2k. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Now the 5-cost we've got coming in here is Smoker TCG. Smoker in TCG's body. Punk Hazard. We've got Banish here. So when you take a life, it goes to the trash, not to the hand. Triggers don't activate, yay. But also we got an activate main to activate one of your Dom. But then you can't set Dom cards active with character effects during this turn. It says character effects. It doesn't say leader effects, which is fine. That would be the real bad thing. But it doesn't say that, so we're good. Now we are playing a Hody Jones here. The one from OP-06, I don't really like Cody Jones, but it's a 7-cost 8k with Rush, and on play you rest 2 of your opponent's characters or Don, and then put the top card of your life into your hand. So we've got Rush, card advantage, resting characters. Not a huge Hody Jones fan, but you can see where we're going here. This gives an awful lot of value. And then the final character here is your Ben Beckman. This is the one from OP-09. On play, trash an opponent's character with 6k or less. But remember, I've shown you a bunch of skills, especially on our lower power characters here, your cheaper characters, that will actually just lower power. And then you get to trash them with Ben Beckman. Not a coincidence, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very, very, very useful character. Oh, sorry, I lied to you. We've also got the 8-cost Captain Eustace Kidd. My apologies. This is your biggest character. And we got Don X1 on your opponent's turn. If this character is rested, your opponent cannot attack anything other than characters named Eustace Captain Kidd. But this is where it all starts coming together. Because Kidd says you have to attack this character. But then you've also got a bunch of blockers to keep Kidd on the board. And Don Quixote Rocinante that you can trash rather than Kidd being KO'd to keep Kidd on the board. And then you've got your TCG Smoker, that if a green character other than TCG would be removed from an opponent's effect, you can rest this character instead. So not only do you have the Eustace Captain Kidd, which is basically forcing your opponent to attack into it, you've also got a bunch of other cards to help keep Kidd alive, so this is basically protecting all of your characters. And you got a few things protecting this one, and round we go. Very important part of the deck. Now in terms of events, we got 6 of them, but they come in 3 different flavours. So we got ourselves Gum Gum Mole Gun. That gives one of your opponent's characters minus 5k for the turn. And then if you've got a 6k, you can KO a 2k or less. Does the same thing as a main. But remember, the whole point here is trying to get up to 7k for your leader. So yes, you should have a 6k. We have a copy of Radical Beam from OP-01. It's a 1-cost that gives a 2k bump, but if you've got 2 or less life, it goes up to 4k, which is brilliant. Trigger's just a 1k bump, but that's fine. And then we've got a new one from OP-10 that gives a 3k bump to your leader or character, but then gives your opponent's leader or character minus 2k for the turn. As a trigger, it's just a 1k bump for you. So lots of lowering power. Lots of raising your own power. Here's the list as a whole, of course. And we've got a lot of protection with Kid and everything else. And you add all of this together, and you're lowering power, removing characters, and making sure that your opponent has got to work really hard to take anything off the board, and it all adds up to the deck that won Nationals. Sounds good to me. But now I want to hear from you guys. Tell me what you think about this deck. Tell me if you think it is going to be as good as it might look. Tell me if you'd rather play OP-02 Smoker instead. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.